Hi y'all, this is Eva from the book blog astripedarmchair.wordpress.com, and I'm here with Thistle to talk about my library loot. I had plenty of holds come in, and yet I still browse the new book section, so I definitely have a few books to get through, so let's get to it. First up, Chinese Lessons. 5 Classmates and the Story of the New China by John Pomfret. I've heard good things about this one for a while, and so I think I was looking for some international relations nonfiction. That was my major in college, and I still enjoy it, so that went on the list. Next up is Advantage by Adam Siegel, which is another international relations book, How American Innovation Can Overcome the Asian Challenge. Now, I know that subtitle makes it sound far more conservative than what I am, but I like reading different perspectives on things, so I don't expect to necessarily agree with everything Siegel says, but as long as he's fairly intelligent, at least we'll agree to disagree in a healthy way. If he's like Thomas Friedman, then I'll just return the book to the library. No harm done. The Polished Hoe by Austin Clarke. I read his literary memoir, Breadfruit and Pig's Tales, and it was wonderful. I read that in preparation for my Canadian adventure. Sorry, Canada, I swear I know how to pronounce you. Anyway, because Clarke is originally from Barbados, but now lives in Canada. So that made me want to read his fiction. He's primarily a novelist, and this was one of the only ones my library had. So, assuming I love it, I'll have to get on some interlibrary loan. The Bathing Women by Tia Ning, who is a Chinese author. And this is her first work to be translated into English, but she's very popular in China. Trying to avoid the glare. Not working. There we go. Anyway, I know I read about this on a blog. It might have been Sandra of Fresh Ink Books. I'm not completely sure. So, sorry about that. No, I know where I read it. It was in a comment on Maryland's new Global Women Reading Challenge. And it was one of the participants. Maybe it was Sandra, maybe it was someone else. But yeah, so I decided to go ahead and request it, and it was originally written in 2000, even though it's a new book because it's just been published in English translation. Speaking of which, we have Silent House by Orhan Pamuk, who is a Turkish author. He won the Nobel Prize, as the cover hopefully tells you. Anyway, this was originally published in the 1980s, but it's finally getting translated into English. I have a mixed track record with Pamuk. I really hated The Black Book. I read it my senior year of college, and I remember just dreading picking it up and having to get through another chapter, which is weird because if you read the, why do I want to say syllogy? The synopsis, there we go, it sounds like an Eva book. But then I read My Name is Red and loved it, so maybe I'm a Pamuk fan, maybe I'm not. I thought that this could be the deciding vote. Oh, and I also tried his nonfiction book, Istanbul, and did not like that one. I think I quit after like 15 pages. There was some weird scene with him and his brother, maybe, or him in the back. I don't remember. I just remember deciding it wasn't my type of memoir. The New Golden Rule by Amitai Etzioni. Community Immorality in a Democratic Society. So Etzioni is a scholar, and he teaches at an American university, but he's not American. Can't remember if he's Italian or from somewhere in the Middle East. Anyway, I saw one of his videos where he was talking about buying things and, you know, being a consumer in the 21st century, and I really enjoyed it. So I decided to hop on over to my library catalog and request one of his books. I wonder if he would approve of me borrowing it instead of buying it because of his philosophy, or if as an author with royalties he would have preferred it the other way. I wonder if authors get more royalties for libraries buying their books. I have no idea. Anyway, Beowulf, a new verse translation by Seamus Heaney. Heaney? Not sure. It's a bilingual edition, which is awesome because clearly I will be reading it. Can you see that? In, what is that? Old English? Something vaguely Scandinavian Englishy. Anyway, I love that cover, don't you? So, although I'm not sure they had chainmail. They probably did. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't even have sleep deprivation as an excuse. This is just me, easily distractible. So, I have not read this since high school, which is a really long time now. Wow, it really is. And I've been craving some medieval literature, so I've heard good things about the Heaney translation, and I thought that I would give it a shot. Next up is The Age of Missing Information by one of my very favorite nonfiction authors, Bill McKibben. I'm basically working my way through his backlist, and this was the next one. And I think it's about knowledge gained from TV versus knowledge gained from A Walk in the Woods. So, one of the books I got from the new book section, because I can't resist browsing, is The Greatcoat by Helen Dunmore. I read her debut for the Orange Challenge, I think last year, A Spell of Winter, and loved it. It was gothic and glorious. So I already know that I like her, and then this was handily displayed cover out. Do you see that cover? So I opened it up, and I read a powerful evocation of the period and the tricks the mind can play on itself. The Greatcoat's unadorned prose builds a chilling effect reminiscent of The Turn of the Screw. I like Henry James. And then I saw, it just jumped out at me, an evocative and sophisticated ghost story. And that's where I stopped reading, threw it in my bag. So, let you know how it goes. Look, the back is even more awesome. I love ghost stories, but I'm also really picky about them, so my experience with them is that usually I get really excited because I found a new one, and they're strangely hard to find. You'd think they'd be more popular. And then I start to read it, and then I'm all disappointed and sad. So, right now I'm in the excitement phase, and hopefully, since I've already read Dunmore and loved her, she will live up to my excitement. Next up is The 10 p.m. Question by Kate DeGoldie. Debbie, one of my very favorite people, and who I finally got to see on my trip last year, reviewed this on her blog, which I hate to tell you the title of, but it's called Still Nothing of Importance, even though what she blogs about is definitely important. Anyway, and she did such a wonderful review of it that I wanted to read it right away. So, I requested it. I think Anna's reviewed it too, another one of my favorite people, and bloggers, of course. The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by Joan Aiken. Jenny, another favorite person and blogger, although I haven't gotten to meet Jenny, so. Anyway, she really likes this, and she's mentioned it on her blog a few times, so I decided I was in the mood for it, because originally I thought it was a new novel, but it was actually written in the 60s, and I'm trying to read more early, but not necessarily classics, so older, but not too old books this year. Does that make sense? Scheherazade Goes West. I have no clue if that's actually how you pronounce her name, because I don't speak Arabic, but that's how I pronounce it in my head. Let me know if I'm doing it wrong. Anyway, Different Cultures, Different Harems by Fatima Mernissi, who is a scholar, let me see, in Morocco. So she is Moroccan. And I read about this somewhere. Maybe in another feminist book, I don't know. But I read good things about it, and I just finished reading Naguib Mahfouz's take on Arabian Nights and Days. That's the title of his book. And I've read Arabian Nights, which is the original classic, and loved it. And I've read a couple books about Middle Eastern literature and women and stuff, and enjoyed them as well. Leila Ahmed is one of my favorite authors. She's Egyptian. So yeah, decided to request it. I'm in a Books About Books mood. Next up are two novels by the same author, Patricia McKillip, who is a fantasy author who I just discovered last year, quite at random, picking up her book from my shelf, from the library shelf, and now I really love her. So I got In the Forest of the Sere and Song for the Basilisk. I actually had a poster of this print on my wall in high school. Kind of funny. Anyway, so these were pretty much at random from the catalog. And I got two because I've discovered if I only have one and then I finish it, I'm really sad because I don't have any more McKillip to read. That's how much I love her. So, thought I'd, stave off that trouble and request two. And then Arthi just posted about a different novel of hers, The Shade in Umbria or something, and said that she wanted someone else to read it so that she could talk about it. So I actually have a third McKillip on my way, on its way to me. So yeah, woo, McKillip. If you haven't read her and you enjoy fairy tale fantasy, then you are missing out. The Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James, Toussaint Louverture, and the San Domingo Revolution I requested some nonfiction recommendations by authors of color, which weren't about ethnic studies or direct social justice issues. And Kinna recommended this, and that's all it took for me to request it. And finally, sorry, I have to reach way over to the edge of my desk. Sorry, Thistle. Woke her up from her nap. Trouble in Transylvania by Barbara Wilson, aka Barbara Sciolum, now that she split up from her partner. So this is a mystery, and it's by the same author who wrote Palace of the Snow Queen, which I loved. That was a travelogue. So I thought I would try out her fiction and see what I think. It's pretty much all I know. Cassandra Riley is the sleuth, and I believe she's a lesbian. Oh, she's a globe-trotting translator. That pretty much sounds like I will enjoy it. So, I'll report back to you. There you have it. Those are my books for this week. And it's always fun to be surrounded by them. I'm waking up Thistlebug so that she can say goodbye. Hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!